Hello, and welcome to the Art of Online Marketing live show. Today, we're going to be talking about bad habits to break on social media in 2019. All right, so for those of you who may not know who I am, my name is Denise Allison, and I help service-based entrepreneurs grow their businesses with social media and live video. So, for those of you wondering why we're 10 minutes late, it's because I accidentally set the schedule for 10:10 instead of 10 o'clock. So there's no big reason or excuse. It's just a little mistake on my part when I scheduled the video last week. So here we are. All right. So today, what I want to talk about are some of the bad habits that I've observed, and that is either through clients of mine, entrepreneurs that I speak to, or just observing what some entrepreneurs are putting out there that I'm following on various social media. So I want to help you make sure that you're not continuing with some of these bad habits into 2019 and identifying which ones you can stop doing to have a better, more effective social media presence. All right. So before we get started, I have a brand new free resource for you, for those of you who are looking to step up your live video in 2019, or for those of you who haven't started yet. And I'll tell you how you can get your hands on that at the end of this live video. All right, so let me know while we're going through these if these are some bad habits that you may or may not have. Let me know in the comments. All right, so let's get on to today's topic, and that's bad social media habits to break in 2019. So the first bad habit is winging it. And that is what happens when you don't have a social media marketing strategy. And I'd say most of us are guilty of doing this at some point or another. It might be for a few months, it might be for a few years, and some of us have maybe never had a social media marketing strategy. But you do want some type of strategy or guide or plan to guide your efforts so that you're not just putting random things out there, and so that you're making the best use of your time. So the great thing about having a strategy, whether you create it with a social media marketing strategist such as myself, or if you create it on your own, is that it really forces you to take a step back and look at the big picture of your business and plan and create your content strategically. So what happens when you don't have a strategy is you'll be like, oh, oops, I haven't posted anything to social media for a few days or a few weeks or a few months, depending on how often you end up posting. So it'd be like, oh, I haven't posted for a while. I better go post something. And then you like open up Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever. And you're like, okay, what do I say now? So nothing comes, and then sometimes you'll just keep going on posting nothing because you don't know what to say, and it's really hard to do it right in the moment like that. Or weeks go by and you haven't posted anything, and you're like, oh, I gotta post something. So you just choose a really weird meme or something promotional or something that's really not going to help you move forward with your goal. So having a strategy helps guide you, and it prompts you to know what to say, and you come up with a lot of those ideas before, when you're in a brainstorming area and not in a panic reactive state where you're like, oh, I gotta write something and I don't know what. So let me know in the comments, are you winging it when it comes to your social media content? It's okay if you are. The important thing is to come up with a strategy and not continue to wing it in 2019. All right, the next bad habit is hiding behind your products and services. So your potential customers, they need to know what you offer, and they need to know how you fit into their life in terms of what you can help them with and how you can help them achieve their goals. That should be a given. That piece should be clear whenever someone lands on your profile and reads your about section. That should be there. But to move your audience member to a potential or into being an actual customer, that pays you money for your products and services, they need more than just to know, okay, this is what I do. Your audience has options. There are a ton of other people out there who offer something very similar or the same thing that you are offering. So that's why it's really important to share about yourself beyond what you are selling. You need to make those connections and you need to build those relationships with your potential customers so that when it comes time to buy the thing that you're offering and that helps them solve their challenges and problems, that you are the person that they come to. You need to gain their trust and grow that know, like, and trust factor that we talk about here so often. So that connection point is far too often overlooked by entrepreneurs, and all they do is talk about their products and services, where yes, we need to know that, but we need to know so much more about you to move forward into becoming a customer of yours. So most of us could do a better job when it comes to this, myself included. So think about this. Are you sharing enough about yourself on social media for your audience to understand more about you and want to get to know you more and trust you and like you? All right. Now, number 3 is not being crystal clear about who you are targeting in your business. So in your business generally, it's really important to be clear and specific about who it is you want to work with. And that is up to you. You can choose anyone that you want, but you cannot choose everyone. So you need to in most cases, you need to be a lot more specific about who it is you're targeting and who it is that you want to work with at the end of the day. If there was only one group of people you could choose, who would that be? So when you try to target everybody, what happens is you're generally just too broad in what you're putting out there. So people feel connected to you and they feel emotionally involved when they feel like you are speaking directly to them. And that's what you can do when you're specific about who you're talking to. The broader you try to make it, the more diluted your message gets. And then nobody feels like you're talking to them. So even though you might be thinking, oh, if I target more people, there is a bigger potential audience. But really what happens is when you're doing that, you are speaking directly to less people. I know it kind of sounds opposite, but that is really the way it happens. So if you're specific, more people feel like you're talking to them. If you're broad, less people feel like you're talking to them, all right? So your audience is going to be more inclined to work with you if you're talking directly to them. So get really clear on who those people are. Specific is always better. All right, so are you being specific enough about who you are targeting? Next bad habit is being a digital billboard. So think about this. You know, when you go to your mailbox and you open it up, you have like a flyer from the hardware store and from the grocery store and some coupons to Subway, and you get a letter from this internet company promising the best and the cheapest internet. And then you take all of those and you dump them in the recycle bin right beside the mailboxes. So, I mean, that's what I do. Maybe you don't, but I dump them right in the recycle bin without looking at them. And basically the point is, when I open up my social media, I don't want to have that same feeling of all these promotions coming at me and just being like, oh, don't want these, because that's the fastest way into the recycling bin of social media, which is the unfollow button. So you don't want to be just constantly promoting yourself and putting out ads and really duplicating what it is you might say in traditional or paid advertising on social media. So social media is a two-way street and gives you a great opportunity to engage with your audience. So you want to take advantage of that and be a little bit more personable and not just be a digital billboard, if you will, when it comes to putting your content out there. So a good rule to follow is the 80-20 rule. And this means that 80% of the time you are sharing content that is not promotional. So this might be content about yourself, it might be value, it might be tips, it might just be telling a story, it could be really anything other than something promotional. And then 20% of the time, well, that can be a little bit more on the promotional side. So think about what type of content you can put out there that isn't promotional. So it doesn't mean that it can't be about your business. You always do want to tie in a little bit of business. Maybe not 100% of the time, but as much as you can, because that is still kind of the reason. But you don't want it to be all promotional, and you don't want it to be all business. You want to give people the chance to get to know you, and you want to give them the chance to know how it is they can work with you. So it's finding that balance. So think about how many of your posts are promotional. If I went to your Facebook page or your Instagram page or your LinkedIn or wherever you are, if I went there and I looked at the first 10 posts, how many of those would be promotional? All right, and bad habit number 5 is content dumping. All right, so a definition for content dumping is verb, the phenomenon of publishing content and wishing for engagement, but not sticking around long enough to respond to comments or questions. This term also extends to mean not engaging with any other posts either. All right, so I made up that definition. If you couldn't tell, I made that up. I used to like that game at Balderdash. But the point is, if you are looking for engagement, which you should be, it's the point of social media is you need to get engagement for people to actually end up seeing your posts and want to communicate with you. You are expecting people to take the time to comment on your posts. But that means you need to take the time to respond to them. So if you're asking them to ask a question, you need to stick around to answer that question. And if you're asking them to comment, you need to stick around to respond to that in some way. Otherwise, you lose a lot of trust because you're asking them to take this action, which is a big investment on their part, really, if you think about it. And if you don't respond, you're losing that trust. So taking the time to respond, even something as simple as a thank you, can really go a long way in maintaining and in building that trust. Ideally, you could say something a little bit more specific or elaborate or engaging than thank you. But thank you is like the minimal starting point if someone comments on your post, and that can help you gain some trust. So while you're there on social media commenting on the questions that people have left you, you might as well take a few minutes to go and comment and engage on other people's posts. Because if nobody did that, then it would just be everyone posting things and nobody engaging. So you do want to take the time to reach out to others, engage on their posts, and build those relationships that way as well. So keep that one in mind. So are you sticking around long enough to engage with others on social media, or are you just dropping your content, going away till the next day and be like, oh, I have a comment, and then you read it and you just click the like button? That's a really easy way to lose the trust of your audience. All right, so those are the 5 social media bad habits to break in 2019. And as a quick recap, we have winging it, hiding behind your products and services, not being crystal clear on who it is that you are targeting, being a digital billboard, and 5, content dumping. So which of these bad habits are you going to break in 2019? I know one for me is I do this a lot more on Instagram than on Facebook, but I do want to take the time to share a little bit more about what's going on beyond the business so that people can know a little bit more about me and what I do and hear some of my really, really funny jokes. All right, so for those of you who are looking to step up your live video in 2019, I have a free resource for you, and this is called Ready, Set, Live. What you need to know before hitting that big red live button. So you can get that in 2 ways. One is you comment with the word live below this post if you're watching this on Facebook. If you comment with the word live, then you will get a little message from Robot Me, and it will bring you to that page to grab that free download. If you're watching this on another platform, then there will be a link to go over there and grab it, and I'll put that somewhere below here so you can go over and get that. All right, thank you everyone for being with me here today, and I'm hoping that you break some of your social media bad habits in 2019.